Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast, episode number 72. Now, come on, geezer, 72. There's been one that has been listed on Transfermarkt anyway. I'll give you a clue. It's as recent as the 2021 season. Anybody gets it? I can hear the viewers at home shouting. What
was Johnson?
It's not Mikey Johnson. He was 73, wasn't he?
Because I was thinking that the other day. I'll be prepared for 73.
Did he make an appearance?
He did make an appearance. He was then sold to an English Premier League side. No. He had quite a decent amount of potential behind him. I don't think
it's not Dembele.
It's not Dembele. No. I'll give you the answer because I don't want to be sitting here all day trying to guess it. The answer is Leo Fjørhelde.
Oh fuck yeah.
Norwegian centre half. There you go. That's the only 72 apparently, according to Transfermarkt. Don't know if there's any more. But hello and welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder. This week the cameras are on.
Hopefully.
Well, don't say hopefully. We can see the recording dots. The audio is working. Just hopefully no technical issues from this point out, and we'll have a fully fledged 4-person video and audio show for you all ahead of what is a very exciting week for Celtic, but also the very last show of 2022. Yes. Do you know what? I'm actually getting the fear now that I don't get this uploaded to like Sunday and it's 2023. But I'm joined by all of the boys today. I'll start with the man to my left, Kieran Auld. Kieran, as I said, it's the last show of the year. How has 2022 been for you then?
I'd argue that 2022 has been the best year we've had.
Well, as in like
as a collective, like everything, all the places we went, like just the things we've done, like I just feel like it's been a pretty stellar year.
It has been a pretty good year, hasn't it? There's been some memories have been made.
Yeah. And we are in a Celtic podcast, so it's been quite good in that front.
Aye, and we've danced topless in many a pubs abroad.
Just the one.
One too many, some would say. But it's good to have you here, Kieran, to close off the year. Callum, what about you? How have you found 2022?
I think pretty much the same as Kieran. It's been all good on the personal front, and Celtic side's been even better.
Aye, I mean, as we said in the last podcast, I'm an employee of the club now, so we must be like up there in terms of now like a slightly official Celtic podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Wait, day 2 shows in 3 months and I think we're top dog, man.
I know we actually did miss last week, Ryan. You were gutted to miss last week because you never got to wear your Christmas jumper.
I know, I was going to wear it tonight, but I'm like, do you know,
is that it done? Christmas done?
Kinda, but we're in that sort of period. I don't know what day it is as well.
It's the weirdest week of the year.
It's festive, but it's a Christmas jumper and a festive jumper.
That's it. But instead, you've got the Australia merch on.
Yep. Paying homage to the great centre mid we've ever had. Obviously, his performance last night, beautiful.
It was fantastic last night, wasn't it?
Aye, but 2022 has been a good year. I feel like everything's sort of getting back to normal now. So I feel like everybody's been sort of living a wee bit because the past couple of years have been rubbish. And obviously Celtic are doing really, really well as well. So
normality has well and truly resumed. On that note, how was everybody's Christmas? You all enjoy it?
Rough.
I think if we could have gave the comment section like 10 seconds to guess Kieran's answer, that's exactly what they would have said. Rough.
Worth every second it, but Christmas Eve at the pub.
Love it. What about you, Ryan? What'd you do? I know because we obviously were at the pub down in Shettleston as we usually do, but you're nowhere near Shettleston. What were you up to?
No.
Just with the family?
I went to Mass. Once I went, the one time I went this year, I'm so much a part-timer, but it feels like the cup final as well for all the priests and that. Between that and Easter, those are the 2 big events, know what I mean?
So one's a Champions League final, one's a World Cup final.
So you're a glory hunter Catholic.
That's it, pretty much, a plastic. and then just watched Elf with the family. So
Oh, that's nice. I watched Elf on Christmas Day. First time I've watched it in years. Still
Did you like it?
Oh, I love it. It's the greatest, isn't it?
I actually watched It's a Wonderful Life as well. That was really good.
When he jumps off the bridge and he splats and they run
Wow.
full spoiler.
Did you know I actually watched the Gavin and Stacey Christmas specials as well, and they're just as good.
I've never rewatched the new one. You know that
Nah.
the new Gavin and
It's
Stacey.
better the second time round.
Is it?
Aye,
I've never
absolutely.
rewatched. I watched it the year it came out, and that was it. I'm a bit of a James Corden hater.
So am I.
So-
But I feel like everybody is now, to be
Of
honest. I
course
think
you
I'm
have.
even America.
He's a fat dick. I wonder.
Fair enough.
He's the kind of
I
guy.
can say I'm the
If you
same,
seen
to
him
be
at
fair.
Celtic Park, you'd expect the Green Brigade to have a banner like "Fuck off, James."
He was next on the banner, you know, the no people. James Bond.
the
They were
red
running
note
out of
sign.
people.
Aye. Well, lovely stuff. Good that Christmas is over and done with. It's the new year that we're bringing in over the next few days, and with the new year brings yet another derby, the traditional New Year's derby fixture taking place on a Monday morning.
The days don't exist at this point.
Monday morning.
I've done it.
It's like just a quick trivial thing before we actually talk about the game. Has this happened in recent times? Can you just think of like a Monday derby or a derby that wasn't? I know we've had like Wednesday night, but just a pure unorthodox day. Is that?
I don't know. I mean, you're thinking back to the other ones around about New Year. You don't know what days they fell on.
Can't I think? I feel like they've always been Saturdays or Sundays. Who cares? Anyway,
I can't tell you what a Saturday is nowadays, man.
Saturday is every day. Right, derby. Let's get into it. We're going to kind of bypass Hibs. I think that anything that we talk about with Hibs, it'll come into the game itself, talking about Rangers and previewing that game, because by the time this podcast is out, the Hibs game will be well and truly in the past. There's no point in dwelling on it. So anything that you want to bring up, aka Aaron Moy, for example, I'm sure we'll bring up in the team selection process. It is the second derby of the season. It is the first time that Celtic will take on Michael Beale, and this Rangers side are 9 points behind currently. Kieran, I'll start with you. I'll just make my way around the table. Just your initial thoughts heading into this game. It's the same old with these derbies, the same old cliches as we know, but obviously a little bit different going into this one.
I mean, you're kind of going into not really the unknown, because you've seen them a few times playing under Michael Beale, but they're obviously still finding their feet. But you don't want to pure rehash all the cliches. Oh, it's going to be a pure tough game. Everybody knows it's going to be a tough game. We're going into it in good form. Like, you can look at the way we're playing. That's the only thing we can really focus on, because we don't know what they're going to be like come Monday. That still sounds awful.
This just feels weird.
But come Monday, we don't know what what they're going to be playing like. So yeah, really, we're going into a sort of unknown thing here, but we know what we can do. We've just absolutely demolished Hibs at Easter Road.
Yep.
A fixture in recent times has always been a bit of a damp squib in terms of, like, I don't know, I feel like the game's always built up, and then when you the amount of nutniches and just poor performances you've seen there, to go and do that straight before the derby game, then I think that's just massive to boost confidence in that. I mean, I don't think a lot of the players would have been looking at Hibs as a sort of like hoodoo sort of, because the squad's still relatively fresh. I mean, we had the draw there last season, but going into this game, they're going to be well up for it.
Callum, we've gone into this game in a very unique position. I don't think any time in the last couple of years we've been 9 points clear heading into a derby game. It's proper like Brendan Rodgers era kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of people online giving opinions like, oh, the pressure's kind of off. It's nice to go in 9 points clear, but I don't think this for any reason the pressure is suddenly off. This is still a must-win game for Celtic. The thought of going 12 clear, like, I don't want a draw, I don't want a loss. This is still equally as important to win, I would say.
Definitely. I think we'd sort of touched on it in work today, just sort of because we had folk in. Just got speaking away asking us, one guy actually asking for tickets. I'm like, where do you think this is and how do you think you're getting a ticket? No chance.
You're going to be handing them it behind the
I
till.
know,
There you go.
It's like Willy Wonka. It's like, I've got golden tickets. But no, I think as you've said, it most definitely is important to push on and get to that 12-point mark. I think everybody's sort of saying, oh, we've got that leeway, but I said that's the 3 games. Realistically, if you're going to drop the 3, I sound like Michael Beale saying this, but if you lose those 3, that's your 9 away and you play the other teams in the league. But no, I think you need the strongest performance.
The strongest performance is what we've been getting the last couple of games, Ryan. 4-1 against St Johnstone, 4-0 against Hibs. We came back from the break, and obviously we didn't do a podcast last week, so we've not really had the chance to analyse our return from the World Cup. But obviously people were a little bit kind of edgy, you'd say, in their opinions. They were a little bit sort of out there and saying that maybe we're not quite back yet. the last two performances, how do they make you feel going into this game, and just generally your opening thoughts as well?
Yeah, I think we're hitting form at the right time. We're getting goals past teams. We're getting Kyogo scored now in the past 3 games, which is great. It's probably the best form that he's had coming into a Rangers game when you think about it. Maybe the first game, but we were in flux at that point. But no, we're in a really, really good place, and I can't be anything but confident, which is a bit worrying. This is the most confident I've felt in a wee while going into one of these games, which worries me a wee bit at the same time.
Well, I'm on the same fence as you. I'm at the same side of the fence. I'm really confident going into this, and I know we like to, on this podcast, maybe reserve ourselves a little bit to leave us without egg on our face, but I'm going to speak openly and saying that is the most confident I felt going into a game.
See, I don't know. I think I'm in a weird sort of middle ground, because I do feel confident at the same time because of how well we're playing, but it's just the actual thing in the back of my mind of these games. But see, one thing I'm not buying is like the whole we've got like a sort of free hit here in terms of like they need to win more than we do. I get that, right? But we can't all sit here and pretend that if we get beat, we're not going to be sitting there pure fuming. Well, you know for a fact people absolutely lose the heat on Twitter, because I think some people have absolutely lost the heat already on Twitter with some of the opinions I've seen getting thrown about in the striker debate, which we'll talk about, right? But just in terms of things, I don't know if that World Cup breaks fucked people's heads, man, honestly. Like, see, since we've came back, like, some of the shite I'm seeing on Twitter is beyond obscene. Like,
I think it's maybe the starvation of Celtic that has caused people
starvation of fucking oxygen.
There seems to be a lot of over-analysis just now on wee things, and everything's getting magnified, because even though it's 9 points, it's still a title race, and people go about mental.
Last night, the game had finished. The game's not even been done 5 minutes, and like everybody's like, right, Kyogo's fine, right? What about Matt O'Reilly, by the way? He's off form.
I was going to touch on that later. He's got to be the new one that everybody goes after.
And then it moves to the next.
Honestly,
it moves to the next.
Everybody wants everybody in the team to be 10 out of 10s every week. Like,
it just doesn't happen. But in terms of let's talk about Rangers for a minute or two, since that is the opposition. I can't help, and we spoke about this in the car, I can't help but look at Rangers and think they're pretty average, might be being generous. This is my honest. I'm not going to go here.
I would rather be playing this game after a transfer window, to be honest, because Beale's came in, he's still. That's what I mean. They would love for this game, but unlucky they don't have the pulling power that Celtic do, that we managed to get the game postponed last year, and pushed to the end of transfer.
Yes, for a variant over there.
Thank you, Mr. SFA. Thank you. No, I think you're right in that term, that situation, because I just look at that Rangers team and I look at it and I go, where am I meant to be scared? Because I'm not scared of anybody in that team, and I know that these games are standalone fixtures, and it's what happens in the 90 minutes that matters more. But if you just widen the context for a moment, I just don't look at Rangers as that terrifying an outfit right now, and I think a lot of their fans are sharing that same animosity.
The injury list is piled up earlier as well, isn't it? Because even in positions where even you're saying you probably wouldn't be that fearful, like they're like having to play like youth players in positions. I mean, Barisic just came back last night, didn't he? Well, last night for us at the time of recording this. But I mean, it came back and started alright, but I don't know, I think they're a bit thin in certain positions now, and I think, as I said, they would much rather be playing this game after a full month to try to get players in, but you could have done the Celtic model and got players lined up to come in.
Cam, what about your confidence head in there?
I'm fairly confident. I think there was a lot of folk, obviously I seen yesterday and such on Twitter, saying, like, much more scared of the Hibs game as opposed to going to Ibrox. And I did share a wee bit with that, but then again, we don't want to give them that free hit and say, alright, we're down to 6 points, we're still clear. I'm still fairly confident, as you touched on, the state their team's in just now, it's running on fin.
You made the point. What was it? You said the tweet in the motor about the front three. What is it?
It was a Rangers fan tweet. We're a Kent injury and training away for Sakala, Wright, and Matondo as a front three. That didn't really fair you, does it?
No, because that
Matondo actually got many minutes this season, because their pal Reece was slating him in the group chat.
Scott as well. They hate him. They think he's bad. I think they spent a couple of million quid on him. He can't kick his own arse.
2-3 million, was it?
Aye, for Schalke, wasn't it?
Schalke, I was going to say.
And I don't know if you watched the Ross County game the other night when they played Ross County. It was 1-on-1 with the keeper in the 90th minute, just to bury the game, make it 2-0. I don't know how he does it. He just ends up walking into the keeper's hands. I'm like, he had so much. He ran for about the halfway line to the keeper. I'm like, he did. Honestly, they are a weird team at the minute. But let's analyse the opposition a little bit more here, because the new manager, he had comments to make
a lot of comments, wasn't
a lot of comments. So this was Michael Beale talking in the media. Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat here. He said the difference is 9 points, but we've only played each other once, and they won that game deservingly. So the difference should be 3 points, shouldn't it? It should. So we're 6 points behind against the other teams in the league. The other 10 that we play, that is a disappointing thing. If it just came down to old firms, it would be more interesting. But you have to beat everybody else. That's the key message. So there was a lot made of this, McGinley, when he came out with this comment. And I've seen a lot of Rangers fans quickly jumping to defence saying, he means like you should be beating everybody else. But, I mean, it's just bollocks anyway.
They're jumping through hoops to try and get him off.
I think it's ridiculous, personally.
I think it's disrespectful to every other team
It
in
is,
the league.
it is. I'd hate it if fans just came out and said, I beat everybody.
I don't know about you, but I think he's came into this league thinking he's Billy Big Bollocks. I'm like, mate, you're the third coach at Rangers.
Billy Big Mo.
I don't want to go into that, man. 'Cause Michael Mo.
There's things that a man can't take. I slag his family, fine. He's Mo, no, never.
No, it does stand out when it's on the camera, man. I can't stop looking at it. It's got a mind of its own.
We better stop before we get done
I
for
told
Billy.
myself before I was going on this podcast, I was saying I'm not going to mention it. You mentioned it. You brought me into this.
Why were you so against mentioning his Mo?
I don't know. I feel like it'll come back to haunt me. Maybe I'll just get one after this.
Wake up Tuesday morning. Big Mo.
It just spreads.
Anyway, the comments. Anyway, where do you go, McGinley?
He talks at his arse, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
They lapped this up. They've lapped this up with managers previously. They loved it with Gerrard.
Yep.
Loved it with Gio. They loved it with Pedro Caixinha to an extent as well. Yes, he's had a good start. He's got 3 wins out of 3?
4 out of 4 now.
4 out of 4. I mean, some of those games he probably should have dropped points. I mean, that collapse by Aberdeen was not unsurprising, but I mean, it was a bit gutting at the same time. But you know, they've got 4 games out of 4. They're coming in good form. But if Celtic turn up, I think Celtic win. If Celtic turn up and play the way that they can play, I've said this before, they win the game.
Yeah.
All the pressure's on Rangers in this game. There's no pressure. Well, there's always a wee bit of pressure when you go into these games, but all the pressure's on Rangers, I would say.
Cameron, that was the question I was going to ask. McGinley kind of touched on it, but like, I don't know how much you've seen of Rangers and when watching the rest of the league or sports scene or whatever, but when you look at the way we play and you look at the way they've been playing right now, there is no debate that if the better team turns up, I think it should be a fairly straightforward enough job, because against Aberdeen, you've seen them, against Hibs, you've seen them, and even fans were complaining about last night's performance against St Johnstone. I think there's just so many broken elements in that team right now, and Beale's still maybe trying to get players to shine through a wee bit more and give a wee bit more effort, and it's maybe no quite there yet. I don't know, what's your thoughts?
I think they're definitely there are teams that are in transition. They have just had sort of that full summer and such come into their pre-season under Gio, and Beale's trying to put his input on it. A lot of the players are still there from before, so it shouldn't be too hard for them to pick up. But I think, as you touched on, when you put both teams playing at their best, you fancy another 4-5-0 again. I mean, you look at the first game of the season. That is a bold call.
Is that your prediction?
Do you know what I mean? We'll come on to that.
Oh, come on, yeah. Last night it was going to be me.
But no, I don't know if that's just the confidence comes from myself, but I think from the way we've been playing, when you go to that game, first 10 minutes were a wee bit rocky, but you're still getting settled into the game. They're like 80, we're in total control. Because as you said, the game against Hibs, they go 1-0 down, they get a goal, and then within 90 seconds, they're behind again.
Yep.
Same way Aberdeen, they're conceding free kick, which realistically shouldn't be getting in. Keeper should be saving it. Second goal, the boy takes well for the edge of the box, but again, that's what we've seen from Aberdeen, is the collapse.
Yeah.
Because they try to do what Hibs done. They said just sit in for the last 30 minutes, try and infuriate them, and again, you're not going to see that coming for Celtic.
Kieran, I seen you obviously get a wee shake of the head there at the 4 or 5.
I mean, you look at the game we played against them back at what is it, September now, we played them, we won 4-0. I mean, when you look at it, like, we're still playing the exact same team. Obviously it is under Bale, so it's no outlandish to say that, but I just wouldn't personally go out in a pure limb and say, we're going to
once in your life, mate.
Maybe like gone into the end of the season one year, it's like pure, I don't give a fuck what happens in the game, but it's just like you've got the whole topic of conversation about pressure. I think that's the main talking point going into this game, because it is like, form does go to the window, cliches like that, but it's like whoever wants it medal in the day, like, it doesn't matter like how good a form you've went into the game. Like, we could be going in, but if players just don't turn up,
and then that's what I was going to come on to next. It's like, you know, this is massive for Rangers in the sense it is must win. They need to go for it. But I think Celtic showed against Hibs, and for the opening 5-10 minutes of the game, we can weather a storm. And if Celtic can weather an early storm against Rangers, which I believe will probably happen, the Ibrox crowd are going to demand something from this game. If Celtic can weather that storm early on, I feel like just the more we grow into a game, we seem to do better. And I think we've seen that, obviously, the last time we visited Ibrox, just to bring that up, the 2-1 win. You know, Rangers, they took the lead. They took the lead. We didn't weather the early storm, but one thing we did do through that was in the game, we grew better and we controlled the game. So more of that on Monday would be great.
And I feel like you probably will see that, because even against Hibs, they had the wee onslaught at the start where they scored the offside goal and that. You're like, right, fuck, this should probably give everybody the kick up the arse they need. But granted, it did. Everybody went on, kicked on, we controlled the rest of the game. You can only hope that, as you said, that will happen at the start of the game on Monday. Rangers will come out firing on all cylinders, straight out of the traps. So you've got to have faith that the team's capable of weathering the early storm. I mean, obviously we'd never done it well back in April, but we obviously still won the game. So it's just such a weird one going into these, because every time you sit and talk about it in as much depth as you possibly can, then it just gets to the morning of the game, you're like, you just feel sick.
It's that overwhelming anxiety inside you. We'll analyse the opposition, so let's talk about Celtic for a wee bit and how we go into this game and players and such. Somebody briefly, I can't remember who it was around the table, mentioned Kyogo, but there was one of those tweets the other day about Kyogo, and we all know the accounts that are getting a wee bit carried away at the moment.
Name a couple.
with Kyogo criticisms, but one of the main criticisms I keep seeing is Kyogo hasn't delivered in derby games. He's barely kicked a ball in a derby game. First one he got played in the left wing because Edouard was still here. He was then injured.
The thing is about that first game as well, just before you go on, once he was brought into the... But he was making chances for Edouard to begin with. It wasn't his fault that Edouard completely scuffs the ball, which was basically an open goal. If he gets connection on it, he scored. Then when he was put into the middle, he gets 2 chances. He tries and passes where he should shoot, and then he shoots when he should pass.
That's right. It's ringing bells now.
Even if you put him in the middle, he's going to cause problems. But what were you saying?
I was going to say, I feel like, for people who are jumping on his back and say he's not delivered in derby games, I still feel like he's not even had that massive chance in a derby game. The ones that he has... Did he play the ones right at the end of the season last year?
He got injured in the
last
first one.
minute and a half or something, he went off because something his shoulder or something.
I remember that.
It's mad. I feel like he's not even been presented the opportunity yet to actually deliver in these games. This is the chance though on Monday.
The semi-final game, he was half injured as well because we kind of rushed him. But did we play him in the semi-final?
I think he started.
I'll tell you.
I feel like he came on.
He came on for
a decent portion of the game.
And you could see it in his game. So this is probably the best time to be playing Kyogo in this game. I don't think there's any doubt that he should be. I know we'll get on to our teams, but I don't think there's any doubt that he should be playing.
He will be
game
playing,
time for both strikers. He is starting this match, I would say.
Do you think that he is maybe the most important part of the team this week?
I don't know, because you could then...
I keep going to see this weekend. In
terms of even in the attack, you could argue other people, because I think Maeda will probably start after that display at Easter Road. And after we've seen him back in April, because that was back when everybody was praising Maeda, saying he could run fucking all day. But I'm trying to think, we'll go into the front three, but I've got a pure dilemma in my head as to who plays now.
Well, I have my opinions on who should start, but we'll get in that when we get to 11. One guy we have to talk about, though, that we've not really got any depth yet is Adam Moy, because I think that his performance at Easter Road and his last few performances and his performances at the World Cup is maybe just shoehorned him into this team for Monday. Callum, how good has Moy been recently? I mean, against Hibs, he was just brilliant.
Oh, last night he was phenomenal. I think when we first signed him, I thought we'd play that role, like McGregor's role, and let McGregor go back to driving forward. But it seemed to actually taking the ball forward and actually having a go at flip people. It's actually quite nice to see, especially when you've seen it at the age of 32. You think going towards the end of the career, see out your days at Celtic, that'll do you fine. But it seems as if he's hitting the middle of his 20s just now, as if he's still getting our prime to go and go.
He's just so intelligent. That's the thing about him. It's that bald cranium.
His football IQ is one of the biggest, I would say, in the team, and I think McGregor and Moy especially play so well together. You put two good football players in the one team, they're going to play well, they're going to work it out between them.
And somebody made an interesting comment on my match review last night saying that, like, I think that Moy because he's not the typical Ange player in the sense he's not bombing forward, he's not rapid, he's a bit slower in his pace and his tempo. I think what he does maybe allows McGregor to get into the game a lot more from in behind it. If Moy holds the ball up or he's kind of taking his time a bit, it lets McGregor maybe eye out a run or something, or it makes I think he just makes everybody around him better.
Yeah.
Aye. Do you think he starts?
I think he does, but I don't want to have the whole like, oh, he's coming in because O'Reilly needs a kick up the arse, he needs to sit out the team and that. I think people are just wanting to find somebody else to moan about now that they can't moan about other people. So it's like, I reckon it will be McGregor, Moy and Hatate, to be fair, but I don't think O'Reilly is like a pure, get him on the bench, fucking doesn't deserve to start. I don't think it's down to that. I just think the other people are playing so well that I think it's kind of went, I'm not saying he's been at the top of his game, but I think it's been a bit unfair. Like, because it was mid after the game last night, I started seeing people doing the usual pish, like maybe he's been turned. I seen somebody say he's been getting really stroppy. I'm like, that is just this typical fucking shite patter that comes with as soon as a young player who has been linked to a move in the past, but it's not really been any time recent. Like, as soon as they say like that he's upset, he's getting subbed off or something, because he's got to be fucking upset. He wants to play football, he gets stroppy.
It'd be more of a problem if he wasn't being upset. And it
Shows
like,
up
how
desire.
is he 6'3" or something like 6'2", 6'3"? It's difficult not to be stroppy and dangly when you're that tall. I mean, I don't know by experience, but just looking at Rogic, he was like that as well.
You aspire to be stroppy.
That's it.
Do you want to, let's jump on to our team predictions then, because there's a lot of conversations in amongst that itself, because a lot of the talking points comes at right back, for example, left back even. So we'll just jump straight into our team predictions, because we are about 26 minutes into the show, and I want to just open the floor to any, pardon me, I want to open the floor to any other derby discussion that you want to bring to the table. So we'll just get into the teams. Joe Hart's obviously got to be in goals, so we can bypass that. Right, the right back situation as follows. Johnston is available, as we all know. He could be baptised into the Flames at Ibrox on Monday. Juranovic is back. He was on the bench against Hibs last night. Is he ready to go back in the team? Who knows? Right, who do we think it's going to be? I'll kick us off for the first position. I think it'll be Juranovic.
I don't think there's much discussion for it. I think I would be so shocked if he threw Alistair Johnson in. I just don't think that's the right thing to do.
So what if Taylor's not fit though?
I don't know, because then that. Do you think he would go Bernabe?
I think he would.
I don't know why. I've just got this pure bad feeling that if Bernabe starts, he's going to get sent off or something. I don't know why. Is that haircut, man?
He's absolutely local. Honestly, he's that. But he did look good.
He did look decent. It was a good cameo.
He looks more comfortable.
Aye. I think that he's probably happy Argentina won the World Cup.
That's that.
He's just, he's chilling now. He's been chilling. So we're all going Juranovic then. Does that mean I'll switch to left back very quickly? Do we all think that Taylor will make it?
I mean, for the comments for Ange, I seen an article saying it was seemingly mere a precautionary thing, but I suppose we won't really have any real clue until the presser before the game.
Yeah.
So
by the time this podcast is out, that presser may have been. Don't know when it's going to be uploaded, so just to warn you.
Aye, so we're hopefully going on the assumption that Taylor will start, because I would rather not have to think about him no starting, because just it's a headache I don't want to deal with going into this game.
So we all Juranovic and Taylor.
Aye.
Yeah.
Right, okay, centre halves I think.
I don't know if Taylor's going to make it.
Because
when Hatate asked him, and what was it Taylor said, it's Miami, Rio or something, I'll be fine or something, but I don't know, it all depends.
Because you seen him holding it. No, but you did see him holding it on the pitch.
I was like,
raises a question. Could Hatate play left back?
No, I don't want him anywhere near that. He's good when you don't need to be defensively challenged. And you've seen that in the first 20 minutes. Johan was having a good game against him for the first 20 minutes. I want a defender playing there against Rangers.
Yeah, I think that you could see so much in Hatate's two performances at right back. Not that he'd done a bad job, fair play to you, you've done a grandson. But I think
cheers, Ryan.
I think that
25-year-old Hatate calling him son.
You've seen him darting forward into like the positions he'd normally be in as a centre mid, like way up at the fucking D.
Unmarked as well. That's the joy of that, especially when you're playing at home. Nobody's out with him, and then he can just pick out a pass.
But that's a risk against Rangers, isn't it? That's a risk against Rangers.
Don't want to be taking risks.
So, I mean, we're hoping it's Taylor here to take it. So, are we just going to settle on Juranovic, Starfelt, Vickers, and Taylor? But do you think it might be different?
Oh, it depends on if Taylor's fit. If Taylor's fit, Taylor plays. There's no doubt about that.
Right,
but just quickly, just talking about, I don't think we talked about how. I mean, it's not even much of a surprise anymore. But Starfelt for that first 20 minutes was imperialist.
Oh, he's so good.
Do you know, there's some games that defensively I think he looks better than Carter Vickers, and that sounds really controversial. But you see, when you ask Starfelt to go and defend a ball or header a ball, that's what he's good at.
There's so many times that people have tried to play balls in behind, and he's done a good job at like heading it away. I've always noticed that he always does like good at kind of gauging the ball and not making a mistake and actually just getting rid of it. So I can get what you mean.
I feel like the balls in behind to get a bit more joy when it's gone into the fullback positions to be fair, because they're quite wee guys and it's easier to get at the top. And I feel like that's probably a good point of Starfelt's game, because he rarely gets caught out. But I think a lot of people are still just can't get out the first impression of Starfelt. I feel like that's
the first 10 games is so clear.
It's a curse for any Celtic player. Like, I know first impressions count, but you can redeem yourself, and he has. So
I mean, look at Larsson's first season wasn't exactly sparkling, wasn't it? No, like,
look at his debut. Look at the bar and look at beat.
Exactly.
They don't do no bad.
People always bang on about Larsson's first sort of.
I just think it's getting a bit tiresome at this point to have to keep rehashing the same conversation.
It's just because social media exists. Like, the social media bubble is just so unrepresentative of what people actually take into the
go off the
games with
grid in 2023, man.
them. People need to hear your opinions, Kieran.
I just mean on Twitter.
Ah, right, okay. Right, that's fine. I'm sure they can survive with it, yeah.
I think that argument's done now between Starfelt and Jens about who should be starting games. I think when Starfelt's came in, him and Carter Vickers look like they've never left each other. It's looking great.
Levels. Right, midfield three. I'll go across the table. Callum, what would you pick as your three? And then we'll come to a consensus if we agree.
Hatate, Moy, McGregor.
Right, that's your
I think that was my three I said as well.
So we're all agreeing in the same three. Okay.
I won't be too fussed if it. I mean, I think that Moy deserves to start, but if he went for the usual McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate, I wouldn't be crying myself to sleep.
And the thing is, O'Reilly would be such a great player to bring off the bench last half an hour, 20 minutes.
I think
I don't think Moy could do the 90 minutes maybe against Rangers.
Yeah.
I think O'Reilly could be so effective in the last half hour.
A shout out to my boy Hamill from Football Daily. He put up his team prediction today, and he has O'Reilly and over Moy. His reasoning was for the off the ball work that O'Reilly does, and I think that's one thing that O'Reilly does bring, especially now that we've seen him playing in that position that McGregor played in. We know how effective he can be off the ball as well.
Especially because he's not getting the goals he was getting last season, I think. But people need to remember he's only a couple of games back into being able to play where he likes to play. So I think it's just a bit harsh to criticise.
There's some laugh when he scores on Monday and everybody fucking loves him again.
So with a fickle bunch. Sometime he's not scored this season.
Really?
Every Celtic game on Sky Sports, it's the same stat. Like, he's had the most shots in the Scottish Premiership without scoring this season, and it just keeps increasing game after game.
Tell you what Riley's problem is, he needs to put his laces through a shot. He's trying to score this perfect goal, trying to side foot it in. Just put your laces through it, you'll score. He's
literally wanting to be the next Rogic, isn't he?
He's the artist.
The artist. Right, okay, so this is where I think the debate, not so much a debate, it's not as if we're going to be fighting each other on the fucking table, but
who fucking won?
I think this is where where it gets tasty, because I think that we might all differ in our front threes. I don't know if we'll all differ, but I think there'll certainly be differing opinions. And I'm going to start with you, Kieran, because you've already mentioned that you think Maida will start.
Aye, I think it will be him, Kyogo, and then the thing I'm not sure about is if it's going to be Jota or Abada.
Okay.
But, because I mean, both of them have done pretty well in games against Rangers in terms of scoring goals and that. So I don't know, because I feel like Jota's got that extra wee bit of flair on him compared to Abada, but they're just thinking Abada's run in for that third goal back in February, so it's like there's positive. I don't think I could pick a front three, to be honest.
If you were to just lean,
if Jota wasn't missing the start of that game, I'd probably say Jota, but I think it would be Abada.
Okay, so you're going to Abada, Kyogo and Maida.
Just because Jota was, I think they said he would come back for an illness just there against Hibs.
Okay, what about you two, Callum?
I can agree with Kieran. The only one that differed for me was Jota, but obviously I just touched on there again because he's coming back for illness. Again, I mean, he's played well, obviously, start of the season. First game, phenomenal against Tavernier, then that left hand side. But I think when Maeda's confidence will be at an all-time high just now, especially after last night's game, getting a goal and an assist. I think if you're getting a player running against a so-called for what Rangers like to put into an injured Tavernier and he's having a poor game, then I think I would do him now really good.
And what about you?
I think it would be Maida, Jota and Kyogo.
Okay. So
because Jota came off the bench, he's fine to play games, he'll be fine in a couple of days, he'll be ready for this. So, and you can't leave Jota on the bench against Rangers.
I'm the only one that doesn't have Maida then. I don't think Maida's starting.
No.
No, I don't think he is. I think it's going to be Abada on the right, Jota on the left, and Kyogo up front. As you've
I think I'd be pretty happy with
I mean,
any
fine,
front.
aye.
I'm just trying to be Mystic
great
Meg
to
here.
see, the reason I just don't think Maida's going to start because that was the only start he's had since we've came back, isn't it? I think against Hibs. I don't think he started any of the other games.
You might start against St Johnstone.
I don't think he did he?
Yeah, go and check. I thought he did.
Did he?
I think he did. Yeah, he
Somebody
did.
checked, did he?
Because it was
Anyway,
Kyogo,
doesn't
Maida,
take
and
away from my
Forrest.
point anyway. What I think is Abada has just been so immense against Rangers. Like every time he's played against them, I think he's been one of the best players in the park for Celtic. So I think he's got to start. I just think he's got to sussed out. He's playing well and he does well against Rangers, and I think they struggle to contain him. Jota, as you said, illness isn't going to stop him from kicking a ball. Like he came back on the park, and he's maybe arguably when it comes to sheer talent, the best player on the team. And then Kyogo's going to start. So that's my thinking behind it. And I just think that the way that we've came back and the criticism that maybe Maida had from some, I think that's just kind of led me to believe that that's the three that we will start. But I wouldn't mind
because with these
any.
games, I just feel there's always one curveball at least.
I
in
feel
the
that.
lineup. Everybody's like, there's always one major talking point. Everybody's like, what the fuck's happening? Like just before the game kicks on.
Ayeti's been recalled. He's on front. Oh my god!
Just turned up to Ibrox in his Stormgrass training gear.
Like Scott Bain coming up in the fucking Hibs gear, wasn't it? Imagine that was a curveball. Bain started on Monday.
Done alright. Done alright in that game. In, was it 2018?
3-2, wasn't it?
That his debut as well.
Debut, yeah.
I'm not. See, to be fair, I maybe bought into it back then, but see, looking back, I wasn't that fucking good a first game, to be honest. It was decent. He got let off.
He got let off. He did.
He's a good guy, but come on.
He's
I
got
hate him. As much. Sorry, Aaron, you go down.
You've cut the man off his rant.
No,
here,
as
mate.
much as I'm not supposed to say stuff about players, I hate him. He's just always been an arse.
He's putting his neck on the line here.
Yeah, no, I
Is
just
that
don't like
passionate
him.
about it?
No, what
Yeah,
is it?
he's
What
got the
is
best
it?
season ticket in Scotland. Sits in the bench and does he has
He's living the dream, man.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Nah, I'm just going back to that video when we were celebrating at Ibrox back in April, and they were like chucking shit on the pitch, and he's like, yeah, fucking scummy bastard.
Somebody saying new contract for him. It's just a shame that obviously Haksabanovic has picked up another injury.
I know,
He's
I'm
the
gutted.
He's a
stuff
bit of a
like
good
that I would
option,
want.
man.
aye. I hope will he be back for the
Don't
game?
know.
No.
He picked up a foot injury. Like when
Thanks,
you
baby.
hear about illness, you're like, oh, he can maybe get back in a couple of days. But you just don't know about a foot injury. He'll be an important player than the rest of the season when he does come back.
Of course. Well, there we go. That's our team predictions. I think at the end of the day, we're all happy with whatever 11 starts. I think there's nothing much that can throw us off, unless.
I'd be a bit miffed if Giacomakis started, I'll be honest.
We'll wait till we get to Jack. You said you were going to come on here and spout something about Giacomakis.
Nah.
I can understand people maybe like the attributes of Giacomakis, but he's not been starting games recently.
Yeah.
Why would we throw him in for this?
I'll give you a slap in the face to Kyogo.
That probably would be,
Past 3-4
especially because
games.
he's been scoring goals. Right, well, before I open the floor then to anything, just quickly, let's get the score predictions in. We may as well.
You know what mine's has got to be done.
2-1, Sellik.
Yep.
one derby, surely on this podcast, you will predict it a non 2-1.
Well, we've still got a couple minutes to go this season, at least.
Right. Cal.
1-0. Go back and everything I said earlier. Don't want a constant. Nah, I'm kidding on. 3-1.
3-1.
I'm going to go for 3-1 as well.
I'm going to go for 3-0.
I like it.
3-0. I'm going for. This is the most
I would
confident
like
I've
that.
felt in a long while going into a
I
derby.
hate that, man.
What worries me though?
I know, because
worries
you're
me-
one jinxing cunt, man.
What's your language?
I think we're past that.
People watch. My range watch this.
Not even that many people watched the last one. I still found one comment and one about it.
I know everybody
They're there and they're always there. God bless everyone.
God bless them.
I think that's a confidence booster that not as many people watched it because it was an audio only one.
They
So
don't-
we need the video now.
They want our faces,
they
huh?
need to see us.
Should have had a shave, man.
I was at the Barbers today actually. I forgot to give my Christmas tip. Feel shocking.
Well, sure.
Need to
Is he
give
going to
it next
survive?
time. I hope so. Shout out to Chris. Right. Any last kind of fuck me? We've spent 40 minutes on this game. Fuck me.
It's a big game.
Any final wrapping up comments on this major podcast spectacular bonanza of 2022?
We're not done yet. We've still got other topics.
I know.
It sounded
but
as if you were
no,
wrapping
no,
up the
no,
podcast
no, no,
there.
no, no.
Something
like,
to be
about,
right,
the,
eh?
about the derby.
Got a hot date.
I wish. Christ, help.
I noticed that first look at the camera there, and then you done it again. It was a cry for help.
Jake, we're in fucking office.
Jim Halper. Right, so anybody wants to get out the way that we've no mentioned about the derby? Very
Get into
quickly.
them. Just get into them.
Get into them.
Because they don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, teams like Hibs, they've got into them. Even, I mean, Ross County, they were awful against them. Motherwell were awful. I'm trying to think of the other game that they had.
St John's.
Aberdeen.
No.
Hibs, they played.
Hibs and Aberdeen
Aye.
gave them a game. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, if we turn up, we play the way that we're supposed to play. Surely it's 3 points in the bag, you'd think.
Aye, do hope so.
Still cliche as long as we fucking turn up, man.
Aye.
It's the fact that you need every player to turn up because one person, it just the machine just doesn't work as well.
Do you like turn up?
What?
Do you like turn up?
No, I do not.
No, I like it. Right, anyway.
Took me a while to even click on what you're talking about.
I know
Man.
it was really random.
It
And
was
I realised,
it just kept saying turn up, and I was thinking turn up, so I just thought I'd pose the
It
questions.
was in the brain.
Aye, fit in the bit. Well, we'll get on to our grand questions. We're not.
But-
I haven't even had dinner, man. I'm starving.
No, me neither.
I was salivating near this keyboard, man. Right, it's time for the half-point quiz. The halfway point quiz. I mean, it's not. I don't know what halfway is for this podcast. This will be a bit of a longer one, more than likely.
What beloved game show is it this week?
So this week we're back to Tenable. Hey, I'll save you the Warwick Davis jokes, Ryan. I've put them in the past.
Just an easy target, isn't it?
That's the last time, I swear.
Until the next time.
So it is Celtic Terrible, and this week I'm going to let you play together because it's quite a tough one. And I honestly will tell you right now, you aren't going to finish it. There's no chance you're going to finish it. You're not going to get
Sounds
the
like
last
a challenge.
You're not going to get the last couple. If you get the last couple, I'll be stunned. But you should be able to get through a good sort of portion of it. So shout out to Kieran, who'll be listening as always, our quiz master who sends in these wee games. I need to get back and get the normal quiz from Matthew as well, but it's been I keep forgetting. So I'm just trying to scroll and find the chat. Who do you like Tenable?
I do, yeah.
Aye.
I think it deserves a more prominent spot rather than at 3 o'clock.
2 in the afternoon or whatever
2
it
or
is.
3
Aye,
o'clock.
something like
The
that.
shite.
I love
Right.
lists.
Aye, I do. We always talk about going on, don't we? Like, just applying and going on.
See, that's the thing, it's all fun and games, but because I know that and that, and then it's fucking
Kings and
12th century. Like, it's like
12th century
medieval
kings and
Britain,
queens.
not that, no.
Right, okay, well it is at Celtic Tenable for today's game show. I did enjoy the last one though. I enjoyed the one we done last time.
Which one was it the last
Who
time?
Am I? It was called the Ryan McGinley and Kieran Old quiz show featuring Callum Craig.
Oh, right, aye.
Aye, but we're
catch on.
back to Celtic Tenable. So, your quiz question this week, and don't rush in with any answers yet, because
Close this over.
yeah, so you're not cheating, son. Aye, that's good. So here we go. Name the last 10 Irish players to play a competitive game for Celtic. For clarification, we're looking for the last 10 players to play for Celtic who have declared for the Irish national.
But against
Team.
Rangers then? Is
Not
that-
just all together. All together. All together. All together now. Soldiers army. That's quite well, that. Aye.
I'll try to go back in the heat.
Right, so I'll let you go and see how you can get through.
Is it
McCarthy.
McCarthy's first, yes, of course.
I'm just going through like the youth players, but did they need to have played an actual competitive game?
Competitive
Is-
first team game for
Is
Celtic.
McCarthy the most recent
He's
one?
the most recent.
Right, okay.
And
So,
I was going to say that Johnny
so
Kenny.
was I.
But
Johnny Kenny is not on Kieran's
He
list.
never make. Did he
I
not play in
don't-
the League Cup
no,
or that?
I
I wasn't
don't think
sure.
he did, because did he not get a big injury as soon as he came to Celtic?
I mean,
and he's just been
did they
loaned
need
out
to have
since?
played for the Irish national team? Or was it registered?
No,
to
they've
play?
just declared to play for. So it could be under.
Okoflex.
Okoflex is one of them. Yes.
Oh, Rocco Vata now.
Oh, well, aye, good point. But I got sent this before that last night. So let's pretend Rocco Vata's not there. So we've got 2 out of the 10.
McCarthy and Okoflex. We've
Right,
got.
okay. Any guesses for you, Calm?
That's when he just drawn blank on us.
Republic.
I'm trying to think how far back it goes because I mean Robbie Keane.
Robbie Keane is not
So,
on
F
the
the last.
list.
Wow.
This is
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, this is a. This is.
Anthony Stokes.
Tony Stokes. You've got 3 out of 10.
Richie Toole.
Richie Tittle, that's one I thought you wouldn't get, by the way. So you are actually doing okay, 4 out of 10. And so far, I'll read what you have got.
Johnny Hayes.
Johnny Hayes, 5 out of 10. Right.
not
Had to be you to say that.
Yeah, he's Republic Island.
I thought he was nominate.
No. So you have got so far, and watches I'll give you, people at home still keep guessing. You've got James McCarthy, right? You've not got the 2 before James McCarthy.
Right.
You've got Okoflex, you've got Johnny Hayes. You've not got the one before Johnny Hayes. You've got Tony Stokes. Then you've not got 2, and then the last one was Richie Toole.
Luke O'Connell. Has he played an actual competitive game for Celtic?
Afalabi as well.
I know because they do, but I don't think they
Andrew
actually.
O'Connor.
But I don't think any of them actually played.
Luca Connell and Afalabi are not on the list. I'm going to double check to see if they ever.
So I don't think Luca Connell did actually get a game for
I
Celtic.
think
but
he
I'm
played
not sure.
friendlies.
He played a friendly,
Aye.
looked alright.
I don't think he ever played a senior competitive game for
This is
Celtic.
good.
For Celtic, he played unnamed
Shane
sub.
Duffy.
Shane Duffy.
How could I forget the man
There
himself?
you go. So you're on to
Trying
what?
to
So
have to forget him.
That's been redacted from my head
you've
now.
got James McCarthy, Shane Duffy, Armstrong Oakleflex, Johnny Hayes, Tony Stokes, and Richie Till.
Darryl Murphy.
Darryl Murphy. He's on 7 out of 10. 3 more to go.
Michael McGovern?
No.
No.
I'm just pure confused at the time frame now because you said we've
I'll-
got the two before.
I think I'll get these two.
Right, so you've got 3 to get.
Right.
3. So you've got James McCarthy. You've not got the second most recent. You've got Shane Duffy. You've got Oakleflex. You've got Johnny Hayes. Then a blank. Then Tony Stokes. Then Darryl Murphy. Then a blank. Then Richie Till.
Who's between McCarthy
That's the
and
answer, I
Duffy?
think.
Paddy McCourt's Northern Ireland.
He's not there.
Um,
Right, do you want a couple of clues?
Aye, go
what's the
for
name
it.
of that boy that signed?
So the most recent one is still playing in the Scottish Premiership.
Scales.
Liam
fuck
Scales.
it.
There
Aye,
you
they're
go.
so forgettable.
Liam Scales.
That's
There
good.
you go. You've got 2 remaining.
Um,
One of them played the night Barcelona beat Celtic 7-1 at the new camp.
oh,
Oh,
Owen
Owen
O'Connell.
O'Connell. aye.
O'Connell. There you go. Right. And for my final clue, for the final
this the difficult one?
this is the last one. I didn't think you'd get Richie Till, to be honest. But I didn't think you'd get this one either. These are the 2 I didn't think you'd get. Now, this clue appeals to you specifically. He
Right.
shares a name with a very good basketball player.
what players have we had called LeBron? or Kobe?
A very good basketball, but maybe not so much nowadays. He's kind of slowed down a bit, but at his peak, he was an elite player in the NBA.
I'm going like Russell.
Magic
James,
What if I said Indiana Pacers?
Paul George.
Paul George.
Actually,
That's
it's
Paul
Paul
George.
George.
Paul George. There you go. Well done, lads. Well done. You have completed the
Dusted.
list. So, just to read it out in the order of most recent to least recent. James McCarthy, of course, currently still playing for Celtic. Liam Scales, also currently still playing for Celtic, technically, obviously on loan to Aberdeen. Shane Duffy, Armstrong Oakleflex, Johnny Hayes, Owen O'Connell, Tony Stokes, Darryl Murphy, Paul George, and Richie Till. There you go. That's your
Richie
10.
Till's just one of those names I always remember. Just gets
Never
it's
heard
got
him.
an odd name.
Have any of you heard of Richie Till?
I remember him going about the reserves and that, and then maybe on the subs bench a couple of times. He's obviously made an appearance. So
One thing that stands out to me about this list is the actual lack of Irish players that we have nowadays that are good enough to play for Celtic. You know, like that we are like there's ones that are too good to play for Celtic, and then there's ones that are just not good enough to play for Celtic. It's weird. Anyway, there you go.
Very
Well done.
strange.
Well done. Before we go into the Twitter questions, there's one thing that I didn't tell you to prepare for, which is annoying, but I'm going to just drop this on you. It is the end of the year. It's the end of 2022. So I thought, why not ask you for your moment of the year?
I was actually thinking about this earlier.
Your
'cause I seen it
favourite
on Twitter.
moment of 2022, it was Celtic related. It can be. It doesn't even need to be like, oh, we beat Rangers 4-0 moment. It can be that if you want. I'm not saying don't make it that, but it can be something fucking bizarre. It could be like the fucking Big Fish Instagram post on. You know what I mean? I asked for the lads.
I know what
one
you mean.
serious and one silly one.
Oh, if you like, if you
I
want
mean,
to throw out.
I've got my answer. It's not a goal, but it's when Roll With It by Oasis came on at Celtic Park after we beat them 3-0.
Very cool. Very cool. I like that one. That's a nice one. Good shout. Callum, what about you? Think any?
I've touched on back to the same game. I think that third goal in that game,
Aye.
you find like you're still celebrating on that wee bit. I come down straight
see
there, right back up again.
Well, you're
Oh,
also steaming at the same time.
so good, man.
It's nice to have something to rival that James Forrest goal as well, because remember
Aye.
that one a couple of seasons ago?
Yeah.
After
Aye,
we
we
beat
beat
them,
them
we're
5-0.
still celebrating, and then they score again.
Aye.
Aye.
What about
In
you,
terms of my
McGinley?
moment. See, I like the Roll With It moment. I also like the One More Time moment.
I know
when
that was
Jota's
that's a
singing
close
it.
second
Good,
to me.
aye.
I think that was the moment when I realised I think Jota's going to stay here. He doesn't look like he wants to go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
I've got to see Jota's goal. You see the one where he chips
Chips
Aye.
the keeper.
McGregor.
It's definitely up
beautiful. And then the celebration. It's iconic.
I've asked you to pick yours and I can't even fucking pick mine. For me, I think I've just got to go. I know we didn't win any of the games we went to see abroad, but it's got to be one of the away trips. Just loved it. It was like a real. I don't know what I'd probably say Leipzig overall
because you were actually there the full journey.
Was a better. Yeah, Leipzig was a better trip overall, and also I just think
was an actual pad.
Leipzig was just a brilliant city as well. I loved the city.
It's lovely.
Whereas Warsaw was a bit of a
meh. The old town was nice, but
it was a bit shit.
And then the train we had to get through Warsaw back to Krakow.
I didn't have to get that obviously, but
tears were ready to start streaming down my face.
So I think I'd go with the Leipzig trip. I know we lost, but scoring that goal and seeing that, I mean, I wonder how. I wish we did go to Madrid because I would have probably said shot as free kick. But aye, it was a good year. I think we can all say we've enjoyed ourselves.
Very good year.
2022.
And just certainly brought the thunder back, that's for sure.
Oh, Siamese boy won't be happy with that.
Is he ever happy though?
Well,
did you enjoy his facts over Christmas time?
Very festive.
They're very focused facts on one person, basically.
It's definitely no him. He's gubbed it a couple of times now. If you keep a close eye on the Siamese, here's the Siamese boy watch. It's a new feature of the show. If you keep a very close eye, a couple of times he's put up tweets and it's so deliberate. So like he put up a tweet and it was like, nothing will ever match what I accomplished that night against Barcelona, but then he deletes it instantly and then he puts it back up but changes the I accomplished to what Celtic accomplished or something. You're like, right, okay, you're at it. And then he done the same out last week. My pal keeps me in the loop with it. And he put the Siamese boy put up the same sort of thing last week, saying like the abuse I got was shot, and then he took it down and put the abuse Celtic the manager got. You know what I mean? Like he's deliberately doing it. He's deliberately doing it. That's no car. You give me the fear looking at that.
But there was a wee noise that happened.
It's still recording though, so I think we're all right.
Recording both.
I swear if I go home and it's like error, I will talk myself.
Never coming back here if it is.
Right, let's get on to the quiz. Not the quiz. The Twitter segment of the show to end us off. We're actually doing okay for time. It is a lot. It's Derby Day. Pre-day. I'm sure he's going to handle a longer podcast. So I put up on the Twitter earlier on saying we're back in the studio. Get your questions in. As always, I'm not looking forward to talking about food for a change because I'm fucking starving. But we'll get there. Anyway, Blake Rice with the first question saying, if Taylor's injured, should Bernabei play or Janovic left back, Ralston or Johnson right back? I think we've already answered in saying that as long as a defender is playing, I'm happy. But I would go for Juranovic and Bernabei probably. That's what we're all agreeing on. Cheers, Blake. What would your realistic price tags be for both Juranovic and Giacomakis, says Robert Wagner.
I mean, we kind of touched on like Giacomakis' price tag, but with Juranovic, we've got, as talking about who's holding all the cards in the negotiation, I think we've got that on our side. Obviously, he's going to want to go, but we don't need to sell if we don't want to, but we're not going to want to keep a player that wants to leave. I think upwards of 20 million we should definitely be asking for. I mean, if he's been like a standout at the World Cup, not even just us saying it, like everybody saying it, a lot of teams sitting up and taking notice, so I think it's unrealistic to ask for over 20 million.
Okay, fair enough. We all agreeing on that?
Yeah, I hope we get a sizable fee, but I hope we get a good move for him as well, because he deserves it after that display. Don't want him going somewhere pure stupid.
Torino.
He deserves it.
I mean, I see when you seen the Torino link, I was like,
it's just such a weird.
It was one of those ones that you just laugh off in Football Manager. So when they put in a bid, you're like, you're definitely not going there. But thanks for offering anyway.
Right, Cal asks, when Bernabei signed, Taylor stepped up and claimed that right back spot. With Juranovic leaving and Johnson coming, could Ralston do the same? What do you, Cal, what do you think?
I don't know, obviously, as we've just touched on, Juranovic been on his way out. I think, obviously, Ange sees a lot more than we do behind the scenes. For all we know, Johnson's come in, had an absolute blindery a month, and he's ready to come in and play that spot easily. I mean, he's obviously been signed for a reason. But I think it would be nice to see Ralston do it, because I mean, he had a good season last season for us when he had to step up at points. So I think it's entirely open to the pair of them.
I think as long as there's a good healthy competition for the starting spot, and I think there will be a decent wee bit of rotation, because I feel we've seen that quite a bit in the right back spot this year. So I don't think he's going to be keeping, as obviously we don't really know what Johnson's got to do, but if you've signed somebody in after a decent reputation after the World Cup and that, played well for that Montreal, I kind of find it hard to see Ralston keeping them out of the team, but we said that about Taylor at the start of the season, so prove me wrong.
I think Ralston's role very much stay the same. I think he'll just be kind of similar to what he's been doing this season, because he's not been first choice, but he's no been second choice.
No,
Really,
but
it's,
I think there's been
they've
quite
shared
as I
the
said, I think
role.
there's been quite a good battle
We've
rotation.
still got 25-30 games a season.
Aye.
Because just the way
Amount of
that we
football
play,
we
the
play.
wear and tear it has
Oh,
on the
aye.
players,
Aye.
you're going to get game time. It's the same for Burnaby, especially if Taylor's injuries, like more serious than we think. Burnaby's going to get that wee run in the team that he's been waiting all season for.
Yeah.
So that's quite exciting in a way as well.
And Finney Devine asking about, let's see, is this okay with Juranovic now back from the World Cup? Should he start? But well, we all said we should
Yeah.
start him. Also with Rocco Vata making his debut last night, how crucial is the connection between the B team and the first team? Is that, I think, a glimmer of a hope for some of these B team lads?
If you're good enough, you'll make your way into the team. I hear a lot of stuff online about the Ben Doak thing, about how Celtic should have done more.
aye,
There's
aye.
not much that Celtic
Aye,
could
no.
have done.
Aye.
We played him against Rangers. He came on as a sub against Rangers and Dundee United. They were two massive games.
They
The
were.
games we were, especially the Dundee United
But, yeah,
game, we
they
were
dropped
looking for a
points
winner.
that day. We needed a win. We brought a 16-year-old boy in.
Like, it looks as if Jurgen Klopp's actually made a personal intervention and told them about this pathway he can get into the Liverpool first team. If that's the case, we can't compete with that. That's the
Aye.
Premier League, and there's nothing.
And it's not even
I'm
just the
delighted
Premier
for
League,
them.
it's the top, it's the creme de la creme. It's the
Second best team in
yeah.
the UK, you would say. But,
Well, maybe not this year.
not right now, but over the past 5-6 years, I mean, it's a very appetising move, and I was delighted for him when he came on. And he
Aye.
looked the business as well. Definitely get something about him.
Right, we're ready for our first grand question.
Yes,
Go for it.
Go for
This
it.
is
Gonna
I
run
like this one
fast.
from Elliot. Rank these from worst to best. Right, so we've got chips, cheese and doner, chips, chicken balls and curry, chips and a half pizza crunch. So what would you take? What you shag, marrying and killing?
I would definitely take that Chinese one first.
With the
That
chips,
just-
curry,
oh,
the,
sounds so
the,
good.
the chips, chicken balls and curry sauce. Okay, right. And then what you binning? What you getting ready? The pizza, the half crunch and chips, or the chips, cheese
Pizza
and doner?
crunch is getting put in the bin, man. Absolute
I'm not
heart
a big
attack
pizza
material.
person at all, so I'd
So
probably
you've
put that
been
in the
in
bin. But I
that,
did have a slice of pizza or two a couple of days ago, and I really enjoyed it.
Right, so that's
A pizza crunch is just different ballpark. Like that's barking. Like it's far too much. But see, just an normal pizza supper, the chippy,
Aye.
nice pizza crunch, wrapped it.
So what you're binning the pizza crunch,
Aye.
and then you have what's first? The chips, cheese and doner, or the chips, chicken balls and curry?
Probably the chips, chicken ball, and curry.
Right,
And
okay, so
then-
you and McGinley have literally got the exact same then. I think you picked the same. Callum, what about you?
I think.
Oh,
Can
come
there and
on.
no, but it
Chips,
does-
cheese and
it-
doner's good,
It's
but-
the pizza crunch part, but see if it's a pizza supper.
Aye, that'd probably be
I'll
the
pizza
tap for
crunch.
me,
Right.
Aye.
I'm taking the chips, cheese and doner every day of the week, and then I'm going for the chicken balls, chips and curry, and then
It sounds like you're going to do as soon as you leave the studio. You're gonna go get
The
orders.
one night,
I
really.
think they've picked my dinner right. I think I'm actually new that I've read that. I'm like, Ali's just still open.
Still a few scran questions to go down.
Oh, is there? As Starfelt's biggest fan, do you think people in our support are still being influenced? But we've spoken about that. It's a good question, though, Starfelt lover.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
as many people are doing it now.
No,
There's
still
still
Some,
lingerings,
still
yeah,
some.
aye.
Nathan asks, what is the position you guys we think we should get more depth in and improve?
I mean, obviously we need the striker
Yeah.
coming in, but
Long term, a goalkeeper,
Yeah.
a young goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Levakovic. I mean,
I
we're
mean,
not going to get him
no,
now, are we?
No. I wish I had a shite World Cup. I think that goalkeeper's a shout. I've kind of think that recently, but striker's probably the one that jumps off the most. Is Juranovic's last game for Celtic on Monday?
I don't know if he'll get the move straight away. I'm kind of undecided on that, but I feel like Johnson might start getting minutes. Like, no point keep on playing Juranovic, especially once the Rangers game's out the way. So I don't know.
It'd be quite poetic if Juranovic's last game is Rangers at Ibrox, because his first game was Rangers at Ibrox as well.
That's
when he
right.
plays the left back.
Aye, that's
He
right.
had a good debut by all accounts.
Who was Celtic's most underrated player this year, and what players would you like to see? Well, who was most underrated in 2022?
It's a hard
That
question.
was David Turnbull who asked that.
It wasn't.
Do you want me to say
Most underrated player of the year. I mean, and you could say Starfelt,
I was going to say that, but I don't want to sound like I'm pure banging that drum.
but
all
I
the
think that's a
time.
genuine answer. Like, I don't think he's got the respect he deserves. So
See,
I think it
wouldn't-
could be him.
I wouldn't say it's Greg Taylor, because I don't think he's underrated anymore. I
Nah.
think he's perfectly rated.
That's even know
Maeda in terms of big goals.
I don't even know what to say, because I feel like you could say Abada, because sometimes it goes really quiet about like he goes really under the radar at times, like the amount of contributions he gets, but I don't even know if you could say that, to be honest.
Probably
So
say Starfelt. looking
Yeah,
at
I
that
think
now.
I'd say Starfelt.
Probably
Especially
need to
this
go for
season,
that.
we started getting a couple of goals in as well.
Yeah, I'd go Starfield.
And we look more solid with him back now.
Yeah, absolutely. Jota17 asks, best Christmas dessert. What did we all have for our puddings then on Christmas dinner?
I'd like a mad wee chocolate cake thing. I don't even know what it was.
Chocolate cake.
But it was something else in it, but I can't remember what. It was alright.
What'd you have?
Pavlova with ice cream.
I've never had pavlova, I don't think.
Decent.
I had a wee bit of Viennetta with the cake as well. That's
That'd be
classic Christmas stuff.
I never had dessert, but
Oh,
I do
crime.
like strawberry jelly. My gran makes strawberry jelly and it's just delicious.
I had a Cadbury's chocolate brownie heated up with a whipped cream. Oh yes. To me inside.
What did you have for Christmas dinner?
Chicken.
Chicken? I had turkey.
Brisket.
I hate turkey.
I want to try brisket.
That's
Something
so
I've never
good, man.
tried.
So
What
good.
did you have?
Turkey.
A turkey.
Aye,
I'm not a
good.
turkey man.
Turkey,
Too dry.
stuffing.
That's just
Start.
Maggie's cooking.
Fuck off.
You told me how she does a steak.
That's a steak, right? Apart from that, cooking's decent.
Do you just have a starter?
Yes, prawn
Yeah, me
cocktail.
too.
Soup.
Chicken satay.
We just have like wee bits of
I remember your wee nibbles and all that. Aye.
sweet corn niblets.
So, what's your best dessert though? Would you stick with what you have said? Would you stick with jelly for your favourite dessert?
I'm not a dessert person at
Ah,
all.
I do
so
like-
I could have
probably
been
go with
getting
that.
a wee bit of sticky toffee pudding after
I
dinner.
don't like sticky
toffee
toffee
pudding's
pudding.
lovely.
Nah,
for
I'm
sure.
not a fan. Cheesecake. We've been through this before. Mine's a cheesecake. Love a cheesecake.
You gotta have that if
I
your
know,
chips cheese and
I
done
know.
and your chicken buzz and
Aye, might actually. I've done Awata, thoughts on Awata, Kieran 88. We've kind of touched on it. We'll kind of go through. Just try to find what else is, but we really kind of went up to. Because people are asking, stuff like 2022 Player of the Year, blah, 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 stuff like that. Remember, I hit the record button. Yes, I did. Thanks very much.
had to
There's like,
double check again.
what's your ideal munchie box? Like, if you could customise a munchie box, like, if you could put 5 things in a munchie box, what would you put in?
Can this go between like
Good
Chinese and
cuisines,
Indian?
aye, it can go between cuisines.
Oh.
We'll see. So I think I'd have spare ribs for the Chinese. I love a rib. They're banging. I think I'd have kebab meat because kebab meat's just banging. I'd have onion rings.
Onion rings.
I'd have onion rings. I'd have chicken kebab as well in there. And then you've just got to have chips because chips are chips. So that'd be my
Would you not have
5.
salt and pepper chips? But if you can mix
No,
them.
I just have normal chips, mate.
I see like the salt and pepper chips, but they're done in the batter.
Aye,
Ah,
they're banging.
beautiful, man.
Top Chef and Bellison, they have a good ones of them.
What would you throw in? What's a good munchie box?
Don't know. I mean, I think if I can mix between.
Big Mac, fries.
I think chicken wings need to be in there somewhere for me.
Right, salt and chili
wings.
chicken wings I'd probably have as my thing for the Chinese. But then you need to have a bit of autonomy. It's a munchie box, innit?
Aye.
Need something to clog the arteries.
Chicken pakora as well. I'd put in
I
there.
do like a bit of chicken
The
pierogi.
redder the better.
The redder the better is true. That is true. I agree.
Chicken balls as well.
Chicken balls. Quite bland chicken balls, but they do the job. I had chicken balls every night. They do the job. A bit of curry.
I had a great fish supper last night.
Oh, give me to stop, man.
See, I've never had a fish supper.
What?
You know,
Never just went out and
never
bought
you've
a
got
fish
the
supper.
Chinese the same as me and you've never had a fish supper?
No.
Oh,
What
you're
do you
so
have
cute.
after you go to the seaside?
Sunburn bucks, mate.
I was going to say, do you often frequent the seaside?
Are you a fan of Troon?
I don't think I've been Blackpool about 60 times, fair enough, but...
You've definitely been to a couple of chippies.
Oh, aye.
They love it over there, don't
Aye,
they?
they do, aye.
It's different. Chippies are different.
Aye, they are. But I can't, but you've never had a fish...
Well, I've never
We're
just
starting
asked for
on
one. Like, I've
getting one
tried the
tonight.
fish for a chippy, but I've never actually asked, got to get us a fish supper for.
With special fish
Greasier the
supper.
better. Greasier the better.
I like a
What
special
is a
fish.
special fish?
Breaded rather than barred.
It's kind of like the ones you
Aye.
get in a school dinner.
Aye, banging, man, banging. Oh, I can't. I'm starving, boys.
It's getting
We
wrapped up.
just all going for food after.
So table for 4 at the what's that called up there again? That Chinese up there, Hupway.
Oh, Millwall.
Table for 4 up in the Hupway.
I keep on passing that Chinese called Shatin.
What a name!
I'm just hoping that Gary Lineker opened that or something. It'd just be perfect.
Right, I think that's pretty much it because a lot of the questions are similar this week. So I think we've basically covered all of the grounds that had to be
I
covered.
get a couple of questions in the quote tweets.
Oh, did you? Right, quick
There's
for
one
it.
that
Next
I'm
I'm
not
starting.
answering.
Well, that's one you're just refusing. Go on.
About fittest bird on Celtic Twitter. Not
Oh
even
my
gonna-
God.
Jesus Christ.
And that's that for this week. Thanks very much. Jesus Christ.
These are all lovely.
Oh god, this is the way to end off a show, innit? That'll do us. That'll do us, boys. It's been a pleasure. Happy New Year when it comes.
Thank you.
However you are spending it, and well, I know how you used to are spending it, but how you spend? What you doing?
Got a family party.
Oh, is it in a hall or a house or?
Just the house.
House, not bad. That sounds good.
My gran's not been there for like Christmas and Boxing Day, so it'll be good to see her.
That'll be fun. And Happy New Year to all the viewers, the listeners of the podcast. We hope you bring it in well. We hope you're still capable of watching the game in a second. Don't go too far. Save yourself. I know that we won't.
No, absolutely not.
we won't. But any closing words, Kieran, for the year? This is it, 2022, and a pamphlet go.
If it was my pamphlet, it would be worth reading, man.
Live long and prosper or something. I don't know. Geese.
What that part?
That's it. Callum.
Same as him, all the usual nonsense.
All the usual nonsense. Ryan.
God bless.
God bless. God bless. Like and subscribe. See you next time.